Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. So I know it's been a while since I've recorded a video. So this is going to be video 6. In this particular video, we're going to be talking about Divine Gaming. For those who don't know, Divine Gaming is like a sub company, I guess you would say, off of TFU. Um, so I'm not going to be mentioning real names in this video, just as a heads up. I will be changing names so that way you guys can follow along with the story as to what was going on. But I just want to kind of give you guys a warning when it comes to that. So the names that I mentioned will not actually be the names of the people within this story. If I need to, I might have to write them down just so I don't forget. Actually, yeah, let me get my pen out just in case. So let's start with this. So Divine Gaming, originally, it was the call for artists or for people who wanted to work on the game was actually in the open forum. So I'm going to read that post to you guys so that way you guys have that or at least know what was said. All right, so here we go. This is from Jeff. He had posted this in the open forum about the Divine Gaming. And they even talks about what the possible pay might be. So, seeking team members for Divine Gaming. This is a long one, so let me get some to drink. Alright. So, today I have begun the process for registering a new company, tentatively Divine Gaming Incorporated, provided there are no other companies that have already registered the name. When I have the name, I will purchase an appropriate domain name and begin. I am looking for team members to join me in my new endeavor where we will create the most beautiful and divine games ever created on this planet for the pleasure, enjoyment, and well-being of all who play and those around them. Today's games fall short of perfection. I'm not talking about the little details, glitches, etc. I'm talking about the inherent design of games. Excuse me. Since I received my first Nintendo Entertainment System for my third Christmas ever, I've been playing games. For over a quarter of a century, my passion for gaming has only increased, and as an adult, I've found deeper inspiration and desire to not only play games, but also to create games for others, which isn't common for a lot of people who deal with games and have somewhat of a creative mindset. They want to. So I'm trying to plug my laptop in here. They want to create games that they're passionate about. As a successful entrepreneur, I have built companies, some for learning and experience, and some to last the test of time. I know how to form and lead teams. I know how to develop products and companies that profit, and I know how to create beautiful things for others. In the past 4 years for TwinFlamesUniverse.com Incorporated, my wife and I created over 200 YouTube channels or YouTube videos reaching over 2 million views and 1,500 subscribers. We built a growing team of over 60 people. And it says, well, something I forgot. So then it gets kind of cut off. So then he talks about the payment. And he says, for example, if you help develop a game with a 10-person team, all doing equal levels and amounts of work, which we know that's not going to be possible with any type of game development, because some departments take on more work than others. It's just natural. Okay, so all doing equal levels of equal levels and amounts of work, and the game profited $50,000 that year. 25,000 of that would be split among the 10 team members. So pretty much he's saying they would take 50% and whatever is left to be divided among everyone else, earning each of you a nice $2,500. That's for the fucking year. Just so we're clear on this. This is not a month, this is a year. But we're creating games that are designed to last forever. Imagine the next year we create an even better and bigger game and that earns $1 million, and the first game still earns a steady $50,000. If we did that, if we did it with the same 10-person team, you would earn $50,000 plus your $250,000, and we can keep creating games. First of all, games take more than a year to create. Let's start there. And unless you're a big name company that already has a name out for yourself, being a game company or any company and starting off the ground, those first few years, you're making very little profit, if any profit at all. So you're putting in these people's minds, I can just imagine that if we make a game that makes millions, which you're talking about AAA games at that point, they have the manpower, and the resources to put that much time and effort into games that would be able to create that type of income. And I know there's mobile games that, they build a huge following either because they just happen to go viral or because they're coming from a well-known company, so people are going to go and buy into that. And they also have the artwork and the resources to support why people should spend money on that, right? Like the graphics are good, the music's good, everything is professional looking and coherent. So let's continue. I know how to create beautiful, perfect, balanced games on paper. Okay. I know how to create businesses that profit and make employees, owners, and customers very, very happy. I know how to change the world. Will you join me in creating the future of games? If you're interested, please send me a PM with any skills you have which you feel can contribute to this vision. If you are simply inspired, passionate, and ready to commit, but don't have any skills or experience, PM me and we will see if there's anything you can do or I can set you on the right track. Looking forward to hearing from you, Jeff. Okay, so here's another thing. I found the part where I got cut off when he was talking about the company. So there's one part where he mentions trying to find it real quick. So they talk about they've created created several other successful premium digital products. Everyone has their own definition of premium. Once again, talking about how this company will stand the test of time, and many of the people who work for it are still working on an equity basis, but are extremely happy to do so, not only because they are a part of something that is changing the world, but how we do romance among other things. But they know that building something great and pouring their blood, sweat, and tears into something that matters to them will not only eventually bring them a great deal of money, but a life of meaning as well. So pretty much how I'm taking this, or how I'm interpreting this, is pretty much if I pour, or someone pours their blood, sweat, and tears into TFAS or Twin Flames universe, even though they're not getting paid for it, that they're talking about how, one, these people are happy even though they're I don't think they are, and then two, talking about how you're literally saying it's gonna bring them a great deal of money, but ain't nobody got a bunch of money except for you and your wife or whatever. So, meaning as well. So then that's when he goes on to say, that's why I'm inviting you to reach out to me and join me in developing divine gaming. So these people who already work for you are working on a equity basis as it is. So they're not even getting paid as is. And now you're trying to get more people to join onto your team, and you don't plan on paying them. We need everything from coders, artists, musicians, web designers, video editors, app developers, and anything else related to creating a game and gaming company. You should have this information. You should know what it takes to create a gaming company. You should have done your own research to understand the type of manpower that you will need or that you might need, as well as the resources, etc. I have a chest of over a dozen games and counting in development that will rock the fabric of the gaming world and ultimately transform it from a shallow, semi-inspiring, and somewhat fun at its best wasteland of endless cheap stuff made solely for the financial gain of its investors. When people come out with games and you can tell if a game was only made to make money, sometimes those games, they just their revenue starts to go down because people realize that they're rehashing the same content and they're not coming out with anything new, and sales start to drop. Endless cheap financial gain for its investors to a playscape of joy where everyone realizes that the most fun and delicious games last the longest and create the best profits of all. This will financially incentivize. I forget, I got cut off. But incentivize and all the rest of that crap. So let's go through that. So pretty much, they were talking about how they were going to come up with all these ideas for games. And you've got all these ideas for games on paper. Here's the thing. As an artist, I can have millions of ideas. I can have millions of ideas rushing through my head, and I can write them down on paper. That doesn't mean anything. It's the execution and the follow-through and the taking the time to actually develop it to see if it's something that's worth doing for whatever you're trying to do. So when Jeff and Shaleia were doing all of this, excuse me, I signed on, and I even can't even say I signed on because I wasn't getting paid. I had taken on the role as a concept artist, or what I thought was going to be a concept artist. So I will say there was my dear friend who I'm going to call Jackie. She was a concept artist as well, along with Lisa, who was supposedly going to be the art director. And then we had Chuck, who was another concept artist as well. So for the whole development, the whole art team, when it came to the appearance of the game, there were 4 people. So there's a very small team. I mean, I don't think it's a very small team, but I think it's going to be a lot of work for a team of that size to put together everything from concept art to finalization for a mobile game. That's what originally was going to be, a mobile game to come out in such a short time as well. And there was a lot of inconsistencies with what the Jeff and Shaleia wanted when it came to the style or the theme, the aesthetic. Pretty much when it came to the game, they always kept saying, "Oh, let God guide you" and stuff like that. And I understand, like, you want to have a flow of ideas, but at some point in time, you need to have a set aesthetic or a theme of what you're going for, so that way you can move forward to the next steps in the correct time frame. Otherwise, you're just going to be stuck on generating ideas, and nothing's going to come from that. So when it came to the concept artist aspect of it, me and my buddy Jackie, um, we were going to be the more finalized artists when it came to the environments and the characters. Myself would deal with the environments mainly, and Jackie would deal with the characters. Um, and then the other two people, Lisa and Chuck, they were going to also help with the designs and coming up with ideas, but it would be me and my buddy Jackie who would be finalizing everything. And then I think Jackie and Lisa would also be doing the digital coloring because I was more on the analog side, so I did a lot of my stuff traditionally. So at one point in time, it just became to the point where I was putting in, I want to say 4 hours, but no. At this time, I was working 2 jobs. My buddy, she was trying to get her own stuff off the ground as well. And, excuse me, it just seemed like things weren't going in the right direction. Like, we were getting frustrated the fact that nothing was being finalized as to the designs, the direction of what the game was going to look like, and things like that. And it was becoming really frustrating. Like, we were having meetings every week, and Lisa, who was supposed to be the art director, we felt like she didn't know what the hell she was doing. As an art director, you're supposed to direct us and give us some type of direction on what we're supposed to be doing. And me and, in these meetings with, Jackie, Lisa, and Chuck, like, me and Jackie are talking more than anybody else and trying to get input. And it was like pulling teeth. And so it got to the point where it's getting really frustrating. And so sooner or later, at some point in time, Jackie, she did create some character designs for two of the main characters in the group or in the game. And at one point in time, they never, here's the thing, so they never had to sign anything that was saying that any of the work that we created did no longer belong to us. Like, pretty much if we created something for the game, like, that it was the game, so we can't take it back type situation. So, my buddy reached out to me and told me that she was going to be leaving. I was like completely with her because I was planning on leaving too. This was around the same time I was planning on leaving as well. And she was like, "Well, I'm going to be leaving Divine Gaming." She's like, "Because she got another job. She actually got a job, a paying job when it came to her art." And I remember the one CEO, Lisa, not the CEO, what the hell was she? The art director reached out to me, and it was funny because I was like, bruh, like, what the hell? But let me see if I can find out what she actually sent me. So this is what Lisa sent to me when she found out that, my buddy, because she was slowly starting to distance herself because she wasn't able to work on the game as much, and, was finally, you could tell that she was pulling away, which I completely understand. Like, she wasn't able to put in the time that she wanted to because she was working on her own stuff and working with another job that was actually paying her for her art. So Lisa sends me this. She was like, "Hello, Andrea. I have the feeling your sister Jackie is a bit walking away from the work and has trouble seeing it. Maybe you can talk to her." Like, you're pretty much wanting me to persuade her into staying. We can't control her choices, but she may need some encouragement. Once again, that whole mindset of this is how I'm interpreting it anyway. That whole brainwashing mindset. I'm gonna get someone who's close to you and who means something to you. I'm gonna get them to try to coax you and talk you back into continuing to stay and continue to do what you're doing. So she was like, we can't control her choices, but she may need some encouragement. Then she goes on to say, and following love / Jeff and Shaleia. Like, she's saying that Jeff and Shaleia are love. No. So then I respond back, I don't know if there is anything I can say to her. She has talked to me the past few days saying she won't be able to put as much time into Divine Gaming because of the other art job she is being paid for. So then Lisa goes on to say, okay, I didn't know the other jobs were also art jobs. Why the hell does it matter? Like, it doesn't matter whether it's art or something else. Like, she's like, I thought more regular jobs. That feels more understanding to me. Fuck you and your feelings. Okay. So then she goes on to say she would receive much more love / recognition with us. How do you know that? Like, once again, you're promising something you can't guarantee. Like, you can't guarantee that. Because we've already seen what love means to this group. With us, but so she would receive more love / recognition with us, but I can see if this is like a jump of faith if she puts Divine Gaming as priority. Okay. Hi. So then, of course, my buddy leaves. She's, of course, I messaged her this bullshit too. And she's like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "I know, bro. I know." So she ends up leaving. And of course, when my buddy leaves, everyone's flipping the fuck out because they know that sooner or later that I'm gonna be leaving most likely. So let's talk about that. So when my buddy leaves, she had me go through Divine Gaming and screenshot all of her artwork for her and send it to her, which I did. And so if they tried as BS, good luck. But she reached out to Lisa and told her that they are no longer allowed to use her designs. And she had me go through the Facebook and make sure that she didn't sign anything that signed over her artwork, and she did not. And the only BS crap they had was talking about, like, we can't discuss the details of the game, which the game idea was some bullshit, but whatever. But even then, like, she even signed her fucking real name. Like, this is how much Jeff and Shaleia do not pay attention to what the hell they're doing. My buddy didn't sign her real name. I didn't even sign my name. Like, I misspelled my name and didn't even put the correct date. Like, it's not even an actual physical date. Like, so they just don't pay attention. And apparently, from what I understand, just putting your name and a date is not a binding contract, from what I understand, on Facebook. So try again, boo-boo. But anyway, so my buddy Jackie reaches out to Lisa and lets her know, hey, I do not give you guys permission to use my artwork. And she was, so of course, Lisa responds back saying, oh, I think you signed something that says, like, the artwork belongs to us. And they found out that they didn't have anything like that. So, of course, they could no longer use her fucking designs. All of her character designs, everything that she ever drew up and everything like that, erased. Which means you have to start completely from scratch. So they got another artist, for character artist. And I remember Jeff specifically in the group talked about, I have screenshots of it, I think, too, talked about, we can use her drawing, like, her ideas, but we can't, like, physically, like, we can't copy, like, use her actual artwork. And I'm like, nah, brah, that's called infringement, or whatever the hell you want to call it. But I was like, you can't use any of her designs. Like, you're going to have to completely start from scratch. And here's the thing. When it came to the design of the characters, there was no information given on what these characters should look like. All Jeff and Shaleia had said, or all Jeff had said, whatever, was that it was a prince and a princess. That was it. So any designs that my friend created, you couldn't use them at all, boo-boo. You had to completely start from scratch. And I mentioned that too, because they were like, oh, we can use the designs. No, you can't. No, you can't. And I remember calling them out on that in the Slack group that they had, and we were talking, like, and I know Lisa had reached out to me talking some, well, what's your definition of this and what's your definition of that? I was like, you can't copy someone's artwork and call it your own. I was like, that's like me doing a drawing of Spider-Man, coloring it in a different color and saying, oh, this is my character. No, it's a rip-off of another person's design. You can't do that. So we had that whole situation there. But anyway, people knew that at some point in time I was going to be dropping out because my friend had dropped out. So people were reaching out to me left and right, asking me if I was okay, how did I feel about my buddy leaving and everything like that. And I was like, I'm happy for her, like I'm good. Like everyone kept thinking I had these blocks coming up, and I'm like, what the, like that's when I knew people were freaking out. That's when I knew it was time for me to dip soon, right? So I at this point I skipped one of the meetings that we were supposed to have on whatever day it was supposed to we were having the meetings on. I skipped one of the days, and Lisa reached out to me saying, "Hi there, could you make a choice with your heart at least by tomorrow evening to continue with Divine Gaming or not? You could use the inner work meetings we have to support you. Thank you." Like, bruh, get the fuck out of my face with this shit. So, guys, I'm sorry, you have to excuse the language, but I just thought that was freaking hilarious. Like, these people are freaking out because my buddy left, and they know that if she left, that I was gonna be leaving soon. So it was just a matter of time, right? Like, it's just a freaking matter of time. This is how bad it was. Jeff never really talked to me when it came to, after the class ended or anything like that. We never really talked. So when, of course, my buddy leaves, he reaches out to me because at this point they're freaking out. Like, you already had one of the main artists leave, who was like the finalizer of stuff, who left, and now you're worried about the second person who's supposed to be the finalizer of art dip as well. So he reaches out to me, Jeff does, and he says, "Just a heads up, you're gonna need to make a choice to be creative with a team, or you're going to quickly fall away from Divine Gaming." And forget you and your company, bruh. So it's gonna come from you, from within. It's safe to share that. Like, here's that manipulative tactic again, right? Like, I care about you. I just need to let you know you need to make a choice whether you're gonna stay with us or you're gonna quickly fall away. And it's like, bruh, I don't care. Like, I'm just like, I'm assuming that these people think that I don't want to lose this community because, oh my gosh, I've been in it for so long. I could care less. Like, I'm one of those people, like, if I have to cut ties with you in order for myself to be emotionally, physically, and mentally healthy, I'm going to cut ties. So then he goes on to say, remember, you're a creative being, not a robot. I don't know what the heck that's supposed to mean, but whatever. So then he goes on to say, this is the love bombing crap. If you've never heard of love bombing, I'm going to explain that in another video when I go into the details of cults and how this group acts. Because there's a thing called love bombing. I suggest that you guys look it up. It's something that a lot of MLMs are known for as well. And it's something that a lot of cults are known to do as well. But it's love bombing. He says, "I love you and hope you stay. This is your purpose, and this is where you belong. Don't let an upset." Everyone keeps thinking I have a freaking upset, and I'm like, bruh, don't let an upset take you away from Divine Gaming. We're going to talk about this whole purpose thing in a second as well. Don't be like Jackie. She ran away from her good. This game is going to make money. Okay, so let's talk about the purpose thing. So a while ago, Jeff and Shaleia used to offer what they call the, it was like what the hell was it called? Dang, I don't have it on me right now, but it was like your life purpose between you and your twin flame and stuff like that. And we'll talk about that a different day because I feel like there's definitely a lot of inconsistencies with that, and I have proof from people who have taken services from Jeff and Shaleia before this particular report came out. They were talking about how in my particular report, Jeff had specifically mentioned my life purpose was to create comics. And here's the thing, Jeff and Shaleia, they were on my Facebook. They were friends on my Facebook, and they were on my Instagram. So they knew that I was creating a comic to begin with. They knew that I was into the art world. So it's not something that they happened to channel. You knew this was something I was doing already. So you told me that was my life purpose, which I already knew art was going to be my life purpose regardless. Like, I knew I wanted to create comics and things like that. So that was no surprise to me. So, you're talking about that my purpose is to create stories and, you know, with meaning and all the rest of that stuff. Not to work for you in your company. So the fact that you turn around and say that divine gaming is my purpose, but my purpose was never to create games. Even though I love the process that goes into creating games, and specifically the the design area of gaming, and creating and creating concept art, because it's just putting brain matter on paper and creating new ideas and new designs and things like that. The actual process of actually doing a game has never interested me. I've never been interested in creating games as like an actual thing. Like, at one point in time, I was thinking about doing a game based on my own comics, and I did a lot of research of what went into gaming and things like that. And I even decided that if I was going to do something like that, it would be like a old school pixel game, like, you know, old school like Pokemon, Zelda type style game, like, you know, like pretty much like Game Boy pixel games, because those were really just like old school games that I really loved, and I loved the style. And there was so much in depth stuff that you could have without having to break your back with like 3D modeling and stuff like that, because there's different programs that allow that type of game design when it comes to those old style type games. So I already knew a little bit of the process that went into creating games, because I did my own research, and that's what frustrated me when I started divine gaming, was because I had done my own research into what it took to create games and the process and the workflow and everything like that. So to see how Jeff and Shaleia were handling this company with creating this so-called first game of theirs, you could tell they did no research. They were winging it. They were legit winging it, hoping that they would learn it along the way. Which, to a certain extent, yeah, you're gonna learn things along the way. As an artist, you know, and especially as a comic book artist, creating my own stuff, there's a lot of things that I learned along the way. No matter how much research you do and stuff like that, the experience is going to be your best teacher when it comes to certain things. So I completely understand that, but you just had no idea of the pipeline of what it takes to create a game and to be on within your time frame. It was definitely discouraging and frustrating for someone who has worked on personal projects to have a pipeline and to know the pipeline process, and then you have no freaking clue what you're doing. So that was really frustrating. But yeah, they had reached out to me, of course, to see if I was staying and stuff like that. Like I said, just kind of love bombing me and trying to talk me into staying within Divine Gaming. And of course, I freaking left because, like I said, I was already planning on leaving to begin with. And, my buddy Jackie, she kept asking me when I was leaving and stuff like that. So I finally left. And so before I left, I responded back to Divine Gaming, or to Lisa, and I let her know I have decided to no longer work on this game. It no longer feels good to work on it. Mind you, I didn't create that many designs for environments. Like, I created a bunch of thumbnail sketches, and there was nothing that I created that was finalized there was anything that I wanted to keep that dealt with this game. I did not care less, because I did not put too much time or effort into this game, because I wasn't getting paid for it, and I was working 2 jobs and still on top of that trying to create my own empire. So yeah. So they go on to say, so I go on to say, you all may keep the designs that I have provided, which I didn't provide too much. I didn't care. So then Lisa goes on to say, thank you for letting us know, and thank you for letting us keep your designs. Wishing you lots of success on your path and the other art projects. Which, that's a freaking lie. They just say that crap just so they can sound somewhat professional, should I say. So then we come into the fake CEO, who I'm going to name Anne. So Anne reaches out to me and says, "Hello, Andrea. Lisa just informed me that you wish to resign from Divine Gaming. Is this true?" I don't see how you can resign from a job that's not even a job. Like, I didn't get it. I didn't get any paperwork to fill out for my taxes. I wasn't getting a paycheck. I was pretty much freelancing, free lancing this freaking project with no fucking pay. So anyway, um, she goes on to say, this will probably be a two-part video, guys, with the Divine Gaming, so I am so sorry. But then she goes on to say, resign from Divine Gaming. Is this true? Like, what do you need? Like, double confirmation? Like, if someone-so is telling you I'm resigning and they're the so-called art director, why would you not take their word for it? But whatever. So, me being the lovable asshole that I am, I said, yep. So then, what's the chick's name? Anne. This is not her real name, just so you guys know. So then Anne ends up messaging me back, is there anything in particular that made you have this decision? So, once again, I respond, it no longer feels good to work on something without pay. That is not my own. So, pretty much, this is not my own project. I'm not getting paid for it. It doesn't feel right. Like, I'm investing my time, my effort, and my creative juice into a game that is not mine, and I am not getting paid for it. So, just so you know, I wasn't getting paid. This game isn't mine. I'm going to talk about the payment in a second, but this is not like my business where like I understand that I'm not going to be paid for a while type situation. This is, I'm working for a so-called company who is wanting to take my art and not pay me for it. So then Anne goes on to say, oh, I understand. Well, the way we are paid, going into the payment situation again, the way we are paid is by revenue share. So when we are making money, once again, when we are making money, because you're not paying my ass right now. And then on top of that, this is around the same time Jeff and Shaleia had came out with the multi-million-dollar video. So you're claiming you're a multi-millionaire, but you can't afford to pay people who work for you. Get out of my face. So when we are making money, a percentage of the profits is going to be yours. I understand this is not the immediate type of pay we are used to, but if you are willing to invest, it will pay off. If not, we understand. I just wanted to thank you for all the love and effort you have put into this project until now. And know that if you ever wish to return, you always have a door open in Divine Gaming. Of course I would, because it's free art. We appreciate and love you a lot. So I responded, thank you. So, once again with the love bombing. I never spoke to this woman. The fake ass CEO, I think this is the fake CEO, or she called herself the CEO. I'm like, bruh, no. Like, so once again about the payment. So my thing is, if the company made if the game made $10 in a year, like they're naming all these big numbers when they read like the possibilities of this game, right? They're reading off these huge numbers, like, oh, if we make $50,000 in 1 year, we're gonna take half of it. We're gonna split the other 25,000 amongst 10 people. The minimum, they're saying if there's only 10 people, if everyone worked equally on the game, and then at the end of the year, that means I only made $250,000, or I'm sorry, $2,500 for the year working on that game. Bills like $2,500 is not a lot of money for a year. Just so you understand, I'm talking about a year, not a month. So yeah, it was pointless. So for them to say that, oh, this company's gonna make money, and oh, we can promise you a profit, and da 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 da, like, that's BS. Because if the game makes zero money that year, guess what? You just spent a year of doing free work. If the game continues to make no money, you're not profiting off of anything. You have literally just worked for free. Say the game does make $10 in a year. So you've got, $10 in a year that the game made. Jeff and Shaleia are automatically going to take 50%, so it leaves you at $5. So you have $5 to split among 10 people, if you don't have any more than that. And what are you looking at for a year? like, it's not worth it. It's not freaking worth it. So yeah, it's a complete bunch of BS when it comes to the fact that they can sit here and talk about how their games are going to make money and how other games are falling short and all the rest of this crap. And I'm just like, you can't even afford to pay your artist. I was like, companies who want the best work for the most bang for their buck will pay the people that are working for them. Jeff and Shaleia were pretty much trying to find free labor to see what they can get and not have to worry about it. And I think that's complete BS. So yeah, for those who had questions when it came to Divine Gaming, yes, I did work in the Divine Gaming aspect. I was a concept artist. They weren't paying people crap. I know that at one point they did have a person who was doing the music, and I think that person realized they weren't going to get paid, so they fell out. I'm not sure if the second person fell out too, but it was ridiculous, and they were trying to constantly find free software to use when it came to trying to produce this game that they were working on, which was going to be a mobile game. And I understand if you're trying to find free alternatives, but at some point in time, you're going to have to realize that if you want to play with the big dogs, because there's a bunch of indie games out there that look professional because they know that there is a standard in the gaming community. You're gonna have to you're gonna have to spend some money, boo boo. And if you're multimillionaires, that should be no problem, because you know it's an investment that you hope to get back. Like, you can't expect to get your best work without paying people. You can't expect to produce garbage work. I'm just gonna be honest, garbage work, and expect people to be just drawn to the story. Like, I understand if you're starting off, you're trying your best and you can only do the best that you can do at that time. But with the inconsistencies, the non-cohesiveness, you have to look to see what is out there and what other people are producing, professional and indie. And you have to be able to try to compete with that, which means you're going to have to bring your skills up to kind of meet that in order to somewhat stand out or to somewhat be something that people are willing to spend their money on. But I'm going to wrap that up for right now. I might have to divide this video into multiple parts. There is some stuff I wanted to talk about when it came to some stuff that other people have been sending me from Jeff and Shaleia when it comes from the group, as well as their experience with services that they have gotten from Jeff and Shaleia. I have a bunch of stuff to go over. I also do have a recording. I did an interview with someone. Thank you so much. You know who you are. For speaking with me. I am going to edit their voice and cut some things out. I have to do that first, send them the audio so that way I can get approval, or they can approve or let me know what needs to be taken out still. And then I will go ahead and post that for you guys as well. I do thank you guys for your time and your patience and your guys' support, and for those who have been reaching out to me, and for those who have been sending me so much information, because I have so much content to go over. So I just want you guys to know, thank you very much. Also, for those who have not seen it yet, Vice did go ahead and release their second article when it comes to Jeff and Shaleia. So I will gladly be posting the links down in the description for the first article, the second article, the Reddit post when it comes to Jeff and Shaleia Twin Flame Cult, the PSD group article that someone had posted about Jeff and Shaleia. Trying to think what else. I'm going to try to remember to post. There was a podcast of people who were mentioning Jeff and Shaleia when it came to the first article that Vice put out. I'm going to be putting some other videos down below as well for people who are speaking out about Jeff and Shaleia, just so that way you guys have an understanding of other people who are out there speaking out against that. So that's all I have to say. Also, I will say, someone in the group, I'm not going to mention their name, of course, but they sent me the email that Jeff and Shaleia had sent out, that they sent to me, the email that Jeff and Shaleia had sent out that states that I should still have access to my TFAS classes because I graduated. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but this person did send me the email, and I'm probably gonna read that in my next post. Exactly what that whole email entailed. But just so you guys know, I did complete every single live class for the Wednesday class, so I technically, by Jeff and Shaleia standards, still should have had my access to my TFAS classes. But that's okay though, because I do have some of the videos from TFAS, and I'm going to be reviewing those videos and going more in depth on what Jeff and Shaleia were talking about and how there's a lot of inconsistencies. So just because I don't have access anymore doesn't mean that I didn't happen to grab some videos before this whole crap went down. So I will be sharing that with you guys as well. So I will talk to you guys later. Appreciate you guys so much for your support. Also, if there's anything that you guys would like me to see, or that you guys would like to see that I haven't touched on yet, or if there's something that you would want me to go more in detail with that maybe I've only kind of touched the surface on, please let me know. Write a comment or reach out to me in my email. I'm gonna post that in the link, the description as well, so you guys can constantly have that to reach out to me. But either write a description or write a comment or shoot me an email if there's anything in particular that you want me to touch base on or touch more on. If I don't have a lot of information on about it, I will respond to you and let you know. But if I do have a lot of information on it, or if I do have more information about something that I haven't gone into depth with, I will definitely do that for you guys. I want to create and give you guys the information that you guys need or are wanting when it comes to this particular group. So I do thank you guys once again. I will wrap this up finally. Take care. Be safe. And I will talk to you guys later. Peace out.